Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're here in Rwanda, outside the Volcano National Park, where you can actually go see the gorillas. Yeah, the gorillas in the mist, that's here in Rwanda. It is fantastic, an amazing experience, and when I've been here, I've seen all kinds of great Rwandan products, but I've also seen a lot of products I see a lot of places around the world. For example, Skol, the Brazilian beer, yeah, they license it here and they brew it here. I've seen Heineken, I've seen Coca-Cola, I saw other fast food joints when I was going around. And the thing is, it got me thinking, man, globalization really is everywhere. So I thought what I'd do is put this video together to talk about basics of what is globalization and kind of what are some of the driving forces behind globalization, so you get an idea of where it's come from and where it might be going, okay? So if you're not sure what globalization is, it basically is kind of the process of international integration. Like, it's all coming together from different countries and different cultures and different places, right? And the thing is, we're coming together economically. I mean, think about it. When you're watching the economic news, they talk about the FTSE in England. They talk about the CAC 40, the CAC 40 in France. They'll talk about the Hang Seng Index. They'll talk about all kinds of other places to go along with the Dow Jones market, right? And so economically, we're becoming more and more integrated. I mean, your bank, is your bank from the US? Is your bank from Germany? Where's it from? Where's the controlling interest? It can be from all over because we're becoming more economically integrated, right? But also socially and culturally, we're becoming more integrated as well. I mean, think about it. A few years ago, Psy, right? The Wombum Gangnam Style, you know, the Korean singer, like, that was a huge song everywhere in the world. Like, and I'm going to guess most of the people that sang along Wombum Gangnam Style had no clue what the heck the guy was talking about, but they love that beat, right? Because you know what? The love of good music, that's something that crosses all borders, right? And so culturally, it was a lot easier for that to cross over. Then Despacito came, and that was another huge hit. And that was when it was all over the world. And we're seeing that, yeah, there's things that we like and that are very common among all of us. And we're really becoming more and more integrated together, socially, culturally, and economically. And so we see these things. But when we look at it, how is it that, you know, my favorite phone is coming from South Korea and my favorite food is coming from Mexico or Italy or something like that? Where do these things come from? Well, if you look at some of the drivers of globalization, one of the things you want to look at is the reduction of trade barriers really made it a lot easier for products from all over the world to travel all over the world, okay? Because think about it, if the tariffs are low, if there's no tariffs, it's easier for me to ship my product to another market because it doesn't have any extra taxes put on top of it, so I can compete easier, right? So that's going to make it easier. Also, some countries used to have quotas. It said only a certain number of products can come in from that country. I mean, some countries still have those, and so that limits the number of products that go places. And so we started to see that as those barriers got lower and lower, it got easier for other companies to jump over into other markets because, hey, there's nothing holding us back. So that was one of the things, the trade barriers really reducing. And that's why you have things like NAFTA, you have things like the European Union and stuff like that, which is really getting there together to help lower those trade barriers to make it easier for businesses to work in other countries. Now, another thing that's really helped drive globalization is basically transportation has really made international trade a lot easier and much more cost effective. I mean, if I think about it in terms of study abroad, like I take students on study abroad trips, right? And so if we want to go from Chicago to France for a trip, it's what, a 9-hour flight. We go to O'Hare, you know, 2 or 3 hours beforehand, we check in, wait through security, fly over. Hey, we leave in the morning, we're in France the next day. Yay, it's great. I mean, it's a day to get there. If I think back to my grandma, she was also from Illinois. She went from Rock Island, Illinois, and studied the Sorbonne in Paris in the 20s. It did not take her 1 day to get there. It did not take her 2 days to get there. I mean, think about it. Train from Rock Island to Chicago, another train from Chicago to probably Toledo, and then Toledo to maybe New York City. Then New York City, she got on a boat, and then the boat went across to England. She got off the boat in England, then came across the channel, and then took a train down to Paris and had to get there. I mean, how much longer did it take her to just get there? I mean, think about that with products. You're going from, wow, I can be in France in a day, was way better than I'll be in France in a week. And think about how that changes things. Think about foods. I mean, fruits and vegetables, they might not make it a week off the vine, and now they could be there overnight. Ever wondered how you can have fresh oysters in the middle of the U.S.? Well, yeah, transportation has made that possible. So that's good. But also, how we transport our products has changed. Think about it. If you ever watch any of the old pirate movies, they always got the bag of cargo and the netting, right? And that's what we're taking our barrels in and stuff like that. Well, now we have these super tanker, super super tanker, boats and ships going that can hold thousands and millions of products. Whereas before, maybe we could only ship like 100 products. Think about it. If you think about the ships 500 years ago, in comparison, they're probably 1/100th, 1/1000th of the size in terms of how much they could ship. That's going to really influence things as well. Another thing that's changed, this kind of goes along with the trade barriers, is the laws in general have become more standardized around the world. And here's one of those things. If you look at kind of standardization of laws in terms of things that I have to do to make sure my product can be sold in the country. Well, if everyone's doing the same laws, now I don't have to change my product for every single market. I can make my product once and it'll be okay in all those different markets because all of them have the same law. That makes my life a lot easier, because if all of a sudden I have to change in every country where the blinker is on a car, oh, it's got to be on the left side, the right side, no, it's got to be on the dash. Some countries, they're going to say, look, that country's too small. I'm not going to make a product just for them. So it kind of stopped globalization. But with everyone having the same kind of standardized laws, then it's like, hey, why not ship it there? Because if I'm shipping to this country, they have the same laws as that country, well, I might as well just ship it there too. Another thing that's really driven globalization is now we're seeing our production processes have kind of moved all over the world. So your Ford might be made in Mexico. Your Apple phone might be made in China. Your Nokia battery might be made in Hungary, right? Or think about it, the processes for good music. Hey, where are those good beats coming from? Remember, Korea had Psy and Despacito and all these kind of things. You have all this stuff coming from all over. And the thing is, as these processes become more integrated, people are more likely to buy products they made, right? And so if I'm in a country and I'm working in a factory and I made this product, I might buy it myself too, right? So that country will start doing it. And we're starting to integrate in all these different places. And that all these processes together is getting us to think about, hey, what are the other markets out there? Who else could we be selling to? And the thing is when we look at culture specifically and where globalization's coming from, what we start to see is the differences, the intracultural differences, like the differences within a culture are becoming less and less, or within a country, but also the differences between countries are getting less and less. I mean, I travel all around the world, and you know what? That Manchester United jersey, that's popular all over. That Brazilian soccer jersey, I see kids playing it around the world. And we start to see it's like, okay, so people are liking the same kind of stuff, but when we start to see the differences starting to get smaller and smaller, for example, if we look at an intracultural difference, if you're in the US, okay, and you're driving down the main shopping street, you already know what they're going to have. There's going to be a Starbucks, right? There's going to be a Walmart. There's going to be a Best Buy. There's going to be, some kind of like Home Depot or something like that, and a Target, right? It's going to be the same thing everywhere you go. And what we've seen in the last 20, 30 years in the US, you don't have very many differences anymore. When you're driving into Cincinnati or some other medium-sized city, you're like, well, I don't know where I'm at, because it all kind of seems the same. And that's the thing, is we start seeing the differences getting less and less. And so if it's less differences, well, then it's easier for me to sell one kind of product versus having different products for different regions within a country. Okay, and you take that same concept and you look at it between countries. I mean, look, I get my shirts and I get my clothes in different countries, but you know what? I don't look out of place when I go places. I mean, maybe except for my belly. But you look at it like, look, H&M made it, it's a Swedish company, but they sell it all over the world, right? You might be wearing some now. The university town you're at might have an H&M in their mall. And are you in Sweden? Maybe not. But the thing is, those fashions and those styles are working everywhere, and these companies are seeing, hey, people are liking the same kind of clothes, the same kind of fits. If one rock star is popular, one musician's popular, their clothing line might influence people all over the world. And so we see these kind of things. And as these differences become less and less, it just means that globalization is becoming more and more, because we're becoming more and more of a homogenous group, okay? So you do see that. And so I know it's not always a popular topic to talk about, but I thought it was something you should know in terms of what is globalization and what are some of the kind of drivers of it over the last, 50, 200 years. I mean, because these things are going on for quite some time. So I hope that gives you a rough idea about some of the drivers of globalization, okay? So like reduction in trade barriers, standardization of laws, transportation development, right? Global processes are happening. Intracultural differences, like within country, differences are getting less and less, and differences between countries are getting less and less. So that was a very short version of a very long time of me talking. But if you're ever one of my students, you know exactly that's what I do in every single class. So now now you got an idea of what my verbal diarrhea looks like. Anyway, have a great day, and I wish you good luck if you're taking an exam. If you just want to know a little bit about a globalization, I hope that helped you out. Otherwise, I wish you all the best, and if you're looking to go travel someplace, Rwanda is a fantastic country. The people are awesome. The food's awesome. The stuff you can see here, streets are clean. It's just such a wonderful, wonderful place. Anyway, wish you all the best. Bye from Rwanda.